Yeah, and by the way, another nice thing about the Beastmaster is that since he's going to be the three, you're very likely against the trees. You can just cut the trees with your axes, right?
Yeah.
Like you can just move large swaths of the forest. If you, it's not the best use of your mana, but it is an option if you want to go for it. So Beastmaster Rubik against the tree and Draw Ranger. That's a lot of slows coming out from Neon. Like this is not the easiest draft to play if you're a Beastmaster. If you're out of position as either these here, either the Rubik or the Beastmaster, you can be slow to oblivion. There's no stuns, but it's still very scary. Like I still worry for spawn the bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, the top lane because they're radiant.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, even just like, even if the Rubik could just get caught out quite easy, like you're saying, the Nature's Grasp slow plus the Frost Arrow slow on top is just, you're basically just trying to crawl yourself out of there, and most of the time it's just not going to work. So quite nice lane setups already for Neon. I guess they are just thinking about aiming for a mid laner now pickup. Going to run that Tiny as the 4 for sure.
And putting the Death Prophet in the off lane. But of course, Neon, if they find the matchup like very favorable, they still have last pick, so they can swap and they'd be like, oh, yeah, they're, Death Prophet is good against their mid. We'll see what they want to go with for spawn here to make sure that they don't give the Death Prophet the freest lane. I want something with a little bit more stuns, right? Light Strike Array is fine, but again, Lina won't be fighting very early, so you have the Rubik Lift, and that's kind of it, right? It's like either Beastmaster Roar or Rubik Lift, so you want something a little bit more control here. Ember Spirit, Puck is out, so is the Sorcerer, as well as the Pangolier, Bat Rider's out, Primal Beast, a lot of the, as well as the Tusk. So I will say Kunkka, because I also think that hero is decent for the control it brings you, but what else will spawn consider going for here for Momang Daya?
Well, again, you're sort of going to need that backline reach to get on top of the Drow Ranger, but like you're saying, quite a lot of the already further reach ones have been banned. There is still the Void Spirit in the pool.
There's a Doom mid. I generally don't like Doom as a core as much as I prefer him as a support, but that could be an option. You look at Neon Esports draft, and yeah, the Death Prophet can take towers down quick, but it's not the fastest draft. Like, it's not like she's like working with a Shadow Shaman and a Snap Fire and heroes like that who can bring a lot of tower damage themselves. It's kind of like Death Prophet and then Draw Ranger when she joins, and that takes a while.
Yeah, that it does. I mean, already Neon Esports, 2 of their ultimates are extremely long cooldowns, so there's going to be clear opportunities for Spawn Team to make moves once the Exorcism and Triad ultimate is on cooldown, and they could try and make as many plays as possible. But Mars is actually the hero of choice there. So that is that the hero? Is that Mamang Daya's hero for the mid?
Yep, I'm fairly sure it's going to be the mid Mars, and I like it. Firstly up against the Drow Ranger, so the bulwark does so much work against that. Maybe if you might consider getting, I was going to say Hood, but it's not going to help you that much. But yeah, just getting the BKB and the bulwark, and you're immune to a lot of the damage coming out from Neon Esports side. It gives you another stun, another way of keeping people inside an area, so the tombstone's a little bit more active. And overall, I love the Mars pick. I think Spawn pulled a really nice one out of the bag. Neon, though, they know it's a Mars mid. Maybe they'll cheese it, go for something like a Huskar. Maybe they consider putting the Death Prophet mid, but Spirit Siphon, you get speared away, it's useless. So I think they'll need a different mid than the Death Prophet here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I quite like the Huskar plan that you actually saying. That would dominate the Mars quite nicely in the lane, and then transition to just try and gank the lanes and make as much space for the Drow as possible. Yeah, I quite like the idea. Obviously, still got a minute to work with, but hey, they're not even going to use it. Just going to go for the Queen of Pain pickup. So, obviously, here they can keep his distance away from the Mars, just constantly harass away with the Shadow Strike. Maybe even dodge a couple of spears with the Blink. We will see.
I mean, we saw Neon play really well in the first series, so there's no way I'm counting them out. But honestly, in terms of the draft, I like Spawn's draft a lot more. It feels very much easier to play. They have decent heals. They have saves coming out from the Rubik when he has the shard. BKB piercing stun from the Beastmaster. Good team fight with the Mars. Vision coming out. The tower damage is going to be substantial once they decide to push, just because of Inner Beast. Neon Esports, they have one stun and one ultimate that's a stun, which is the train play. That's it. The other 2 heroes have have silences. But in terms of control, Neon Esports, it's not impressive, I gotta say. And they're very fragile, right? The Drow Ranger, the Queen of Pain, easy to bring down. Spawn have a very burden. Yeah, I'm all in on Spawn, guys. Bet your houses, bet your wives, whatever you have, it's all in on Spawn.
All in on Spawn.
I think I'm gonna take it. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. It feels like they've got a much more well-rounded draft. You can clearly see like they've got a decent amount of front line, making space for the leaner. When it comes to team fights, control of the arena, they've got the tombstone for added effect. You'll have the roar to lock down a single target as well. It does feel like when it gets to those 5 versus 5 situations, Spawn team should probably come out on ahead, unless the lanes go absolutely awful for them and Neon just get an incredibly large head start. Yeah, I agree. I think this probably will be a Spawn team game, but we don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it ends up going down. That's the good thing about Dota. There's so many mysteries that can happen. One little move and the whole entire outlook of the game can change. So we will see. But yeah, I'm feeling Spawn as well.
It's always the fun part about the draft, right? Like to us, this is how we see it. Look at that. That's a Grandmaster Beast. Yeah, he's a Grandmaster Beastmaster. I was like, wait, that sentence doesn't make sense. But yeah, it does work. So he's very confident with the hero red, and yeah, to us it looks really good. It looks like it's got all the things, it ticks all the boxes, got heals, got good damage mitigation against range, got everything that you need. But we'll see what Neon can do with this draft in the end of the day. And Queen of Pain, I don't think I checked one region. I think it was it TI or was it one region in the DPC? But this year was picked like 11 times with 0 wins.
Oof, really?
It's just. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I don't want to like mislead. Just you know what they say, the best way to get correct information is post the wrong information on the internet. Someone's going to correct you. So
yeah.
So I'm just waiting for someone to correct me in the chat. But yeah, I think that Queen of Pain is like getting dumpstered in one of the regions or something like that. She's just not doing very well. The hero doesn't scale fantastically late game. So Ken's got to do a lot. He's got a lot of his work cut out for him in this game if he wants to stay useful later on.
He has had a fantastic show in those first 2 games, and obviously it's going to be a decent amount of warm up. So, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure he's going to do a pretty good show in here. It all depends on how he's going to be able to fare up versus Mamang Daya's mid Mars. Be interesting to see how this matchup actually pans out in the end. But I feel like it'll probably be like, both of them just sort of farming up, just slowly poking at each other. But again, probably not going to see any first blood potential or like solo kills in this mid.
Interesting thing about the Queen of Pain is that if you want to put more points in the Shadow Strike against melee heroes, because you land it gives you heal, it's a good bit of damage. But if you do that, your ability to rotate becomes weaker. Mm-hmm. So we see them going for like 2-1-2 build, but unfortunately, Scream of Pain, the 3rd point, adds 50% extra damage to the spell. So it's a very awkward situation to be in if you're Ken. We will see if he goes for 1-1-3 or 2-1-2 instead.
Yeah, well, we'll see how he adjusts this thing. I suppose it depends how much focus he wants to put on the Mars. Like, maybe if the 2 side lanes are actually going really well from Neon, they might not need him to make a rotation, so he can just focus more onto the Shadow Strike spam. But again, it's sort of like a thing you have to play by ear. Sort of adjust your skill build to how the game's panning out.
But yeah, again, you're up against Mamang Dai. We'll see how he fares up against him. And Jikroy, it's always the animals who suffer first, as his courier gets killed by the boots Tiny, and Tiny's also going to be able to take all these creeps just so that his teammate, so Henry doesn't have to go against the Lina and the Undying comp. But look at what Travis is doing. He's got his own. They're making their own lane.
He's trying to catch him, but I just don't think they're fast enough. So it looks like Travins is going to have to turn around, drag the creeps back towards his carry. I mean, he's actually already lost the range creep. I mean, he's going to beat it here at least.
I love that he lost the range creep. It's like one of his children. It's like, no, come back here. Don't walk there. You're not supposed to do that.
I mean, it's quite funny in this matchup. Normally, a Tiny can just bully out any sort of counter support with the tree wax, but Undying is like the one hero he will struggle versus. Just the decay spam's really going to affect him quite badly.
Yeah, of course, and he also gets a 1 CS, so he's feeling pretty good about that. And he still got all 6 of his mangoes. So Tiny, this is being punished. This move that he's trying to do here, and it just doesn't get him much. Doesn't get him that much, unfortunately.
No, it's true. But hey, with this whole maneuver, he has managed to bring the creeps right in front of the tier 1 here for Henry. So the Death Prophet's going to be sat in a nice position for a while.
2 creeps were denied, unfortunately, for them. But yeah, let's look at the top lane, by the way. It's Fortune Soul versus Red. The Draw Ranger gets the Beastmaster. You also have the Treant Protector providing a decent amount of... So it doesn't have a point in Nature's Grasp yet, but at least it's going to be nice enough. Overall, it's like if you're out of position for a spawn, you're gonna get killed, but it's relatively hard, right? The Beastmaster's pretty tanky, and the Rubik here with the lift is just a very good anti-aggression move to have.
Yeah, that it is. I'm kind of interested about him going for the Leech Seed first. Well, actually, Delol, maybe caught in a bad situation. He's going to take quite a beating for this. Probably not going to be enough to bring him down, mind you, but regardless, it's going to be a lot of damage to heal up. Forcing that salve out already. And yeah, I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for the Nature's Grasp, because like, as we were saying in the drafting phase, the added slow of both that and the Frost Arrows, it would just be so like in that position, I don't think the Rubik would have been able to move through those trees. He would have just been stuck. But regardless, you know, it still did a lot of work.
I've seen this build coming out, the 0-1-1 at level 2, because what they would often do is they go Leech Seed and the trainer would put the living armor on himself. And at that point, it's like, oh, you know, he's getting so much regen from the Leech Seed, so much regen from the living armor. People are forced to run away. It just becomes unkillable. And yeah, I think that's the mentality here. I agree with you though. A Nature's Grasp would have definitely secured them a kill in that situation. But we got a couple of disconnects here. Come back, Travis. The game's not over. You guys have a chance. Come on.
It's always a classic thing about like online tournaments. Some people are going to have a good connection. Some people can have a bad one. And unfortunately for them, it is Spawn Team who are struggling the most there. But hopefully that little reconnect will just be all it requires, and it'll be fixed now. I really hope so.
I like how close the lanes are. Bottom lane, it's 9-2, 7-2. 9-2, 7-1. Top lane, both of them have 12 CS. Mid lane, they're also very close. Like very even, which is what we expected, right? Spawn is a much tougher opponent for Neon than what we saw from Reapers in game 1.
Yeah, which is what we love to see. As much as sometimes entertaining to watch one-sided games, not as entertaining as equal fair ones. That's where you get the real crazy team fights later on.
I also my keep when I cast the one-sided games, because you look at it and you're like, I'm stunned speechless, but I gotta say something.
Yeah.
You know, it's a one-sided stop. I can't say that. That's in the contract. You know. So, but yeah, this is the kind of game you want to cast where it's very even. The drafts on one side makes sense, and you're looking at the other draft. You're like, can you guys do something to come out on top? So far, the win probability is slightly in favor of Neon, 54-46, but I don't think that really counts for much right now.
No, yeah, the game is always going to be a little adjusted. Looks like Jikro is going to be able to get his turret this time. So finally, some tangos back up.
Oh, and check it out. Ken went for 2 points in the Shadow Strike. So his rotation level 6 will be slightly less powerful, just because you have less burst damage from the Scream of Pain, but we'll see what you can do with it. Oh dear.
Oh, missed that. Down bottom. Jikro getting the first word there onto Henry. And that's a nice little pick up there. People up top, more chaos happening. Red's dying there to Fortune Soul. They do at least get the trade onto Hated, but regardless, Neon's going to be happy with that, of the Drow getting the kill. But he took quite a beating in response. Does have a few stick charges to work with, but just going to rely on the Treant Protector, probably bringing him some more regen as he respawns.
I gotta say, I don't think I've seen this before. The first item Wraith Band on the Rubik.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I mean, I like the item because it does give you armor that you need for sure, and at 25 minutes it gives you 5.7 armor, which I think is the third most efficient armor item in the game. Like I think the only 2 items better are like an Iron Branch or Slippers of Agility, something like that. But it's it's a huge amount of armor for the price. It's 505 gold. Yeah. But first item.
Definitely in the hands of a support is going to make some big impacts. But yeah, it's quite an interesting choice. I mean, I suppose it's working out now. They did get a slight trade in the lane. Obviously, there was still the kill that got handed over towards the Drow, but maybe a different item wouldn't have made much difference there. Might have been the same outcome.
Oh no, I don't think it would have made a difference. It's just it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, do the pros know something I don't? You know, I mean, they should. I'm sure they know libraries more than I don't. But it's one of those things where you look at it and you think, will this sort of like go trickle down? Oh,
in the mid, yeah. Ken taking quite a beating. He's got the living armor on him. And having Dire not quite have enough mana for any spells. Did have 4 stick charges, but not going to be enough to get any more spells off.
Interesting. Ken went for the 3 points in the Shadow Strike, heavily focusing on winning the lane. I mean, while though, bottom lane spawn gets another kill for Jikroy.
Yeah, now 2 kills under the belt of this Lina, just 5 minutes into the game. Plus doing... I mean, he's actually lagging behind a bit on the CS, drawing with the bottom, but it's still going fine. Meanwhile, another top... Hated. I think that was a solo kill. Yeah. Fortunately, someone's nowhere nearby. Hated just get an easy 1v1 pick off there onto the Beastmaster. Massive well played. Meanwhile, in the mid, a rotation from Tsukimoto onto Mama and Dyer. Can they get the kill? He's slowly running himself away. The damage from the Shadow Strike slowly ticking in. Trying to hide in the trees, but he's going to die from the dot regardless. Maybe able to get a deny? Oh, not quite in time. Kill there for Ken.
He went for the God's Rebuke because it's easier to land that than the spear. You know, it's like he's like, all right, he's in this area, but I'm not sure where. Don't want to throw the spear, but the spear would have been enough to get the kill on the Tiny. The end, Tiny still goes mixed style alive, so a bit unfortunate for them. And Ken, he is now level 6. He can take a point in his ultimate if he chooses. But I like this item build. Maxing Shadow Strike just to make sure that Mamang Dai doesn't have a good lane.
Yeah, definitely worked out quite nicely this time.
Top.
Oh, Red completely left on his own. That's going to be freaky. He's just so slow inside the grass with all the arrows. There is going to telekinesis, make it a bit of space. One more right click is all they're going to need. And the arrows will find it there for Fortune Soul. Another kill for the Drow Ranger. And this poor old Beastmaster is not having a good time. Sort of similar like we saw in the previous series. Just the off lane going very, very bad versus Neon.
I want to say he's cosplaying RDP for that, but I mean he still has to get like 2 more deaths in the next 3 minutes, and then we'll be like, yep, that's what we were looking for. But yeah, it's been a very tough lane for him, and the Rubik is not a hero that can really protect you. Oh. But in the meantime, it is. Yeah, I think he's died twice.
Yeah, literally, Jinkroy just dropped a casual Laguna Blade onto the Death Prophet's face. Was not expected whatsoever. Yeah, just easy peasy kill. 3-0 now onto this laner. Yeah, Jinkroy is having a fantastic time.
So both offlaners are suffering. The question is, who do you need gold on more to function? The Beastmaster or the Death Prophet? Both of these heroes would love gold. So but of the two, I do think the Beastmaster, you can drop a roar and be useful. Death Prophet, you drop an exorcism, you spirit stuff, you kind of need the stats to stay alive and actually get use out of them. You can't just throw them and die. So I do think, despite both of them suffering, it's gonna hurt Enryu a tiny bit more if this keeps on going. If both of their offlaners don't have much of a game.
Yeah, definitely, I agree with you there. We'll see if maybe they can start changing things up. But might call for a rotation, perhaps from the Queen of Pain, try and find a kill on towards this laner, because now that they've got the killing spree, definitely going to be worth a bit more gold if they do actually manage to find that kill. It looks like Hated has actually moved himself towards the mid, underneath an obs though, so they see this rotation. And the bomb rune is there. Oh, he blinks it aggressively. He actually grabs the haste in time. He's got nerves of steel, not even decided to pop it yet. Tsukimoto coming to the backlines, lands a nice 2-man avalanche. Kendo maybe wants to line up to get this ultimate land onto the both of them. Mangadai is just so damn slow, trying to walk himself away. With the supports making plenty of space. The Queen of Pain has to retreat slightly as his 2 supports are actually held up from the tombstone. So no one dies from that, but wow, very quick fingers from Ken to actually get that haste rune.
Yeah, I mean, he had to blink and pick it up, and that dude, that's why he's a mid player, right? Travis, he's like, oh, I'm support by, I got arthritis, I can't click as fast. And that guy got 2 buttons off, and Travis, he's going to pay for his insolence.
Yeah, that's a nice decay. The TP there, he's just so damn tanky. Wow, that decay, I think it landed onto all 3 of them, and the strength gain was just about enough to keep him alive. Really nicely played.
Still tiny advantage here for Neon, but Jinkroy, is he going to be able to equalize it?
Yeah, he's got the Laguna. He's like, I don't want to drop it, but as soon as he saw that living arm, he's like, oh, fine. I'll use my ultimate, why not?
If I have to, it's might as well. Jinkroy has been having absolutely fantastic. I think he's ranked like 30 in the region or something, which is I mean, all pro players are amazing.
From Mamandaya. Enryu going to get caught with the spear into the arena wall. It's another kill for Jinkroy. This man on a 5-kill streak. Lands onto the 1. There's a lot of people coming after him right now. He's still just standing his ground, right-clicking away. There's going to be Ulm into the face, pushing it back into the grasp, and he will die. Ken surviving barely, but Mamandaya says, hell no, you're not getting out this one. Takes him down as well. They maybe just want to try and bait him. Maybe he's got Tombstone available. He's holding on to it for now. Mamandaya is still feeling pretty healthy. He's got another bottle charge left. Now they're going to drop the Tombstone. Feel like Tsukimoto is trapped in a dangerous spot, but the TP coming in from the Death Prophet. Going to be able to bring down this Mars. Not before he finds the Tiny, at least. So it's a consolation prize, but I think Neon, they're probably happy with that outcome. Sure, they lost their mids and the Death Prophet once, but they take down the enemy mid laner and carry.
I don't know if I can agree with that. I think Spawn would be the one that made it. Yeah, they got more. They got 3 kills to their 2. And in the meantime, Rubik was in the mid lane farming. He's going to be at level 6 fairly soon. Top lane, Red's really suffering though. That's the problem. Like, I was saying, like, yeah, Spawn be happy, but Fortune Soul, he is almost level 9 right now. So, dude, Red's net worth, he is 2.7 gold at 10 minutes. Ouch.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Still trying to get just the Helm of Dominator. He has got it now coming out on Courier, so that's going to help him a little bit, but we'll see if he's just going to go for like the Helm of the Overlord rush. Trevin's found in the trees, is TPing out though, so he will be fine. And it looks like Spawn not going to be bothered to bring heroes to try and defend this tier 1 tower. Should I say that? Delo is just running in, now going to be caught between 3 heroes right now. He might just be dead, but the rotation is coming in from the Mars as well. Going to see who they get. 3-man arena, traps him in just about. They got the grab onto Hayden, but it is a Trin, so he's quite tanky, but eventually he will fall down. He did the self-sacrificial thing of putting the living armor onto the Death Prophet instead of himself. But meanwhile, solo kill for Fortune Soul.
Solo. Very tough. I mean, Red, you might need to consider rotating or doing something, because the top lane is giving Neon all the advantages they need, right? Like this 3,000 gold lead for Fortune Soul over Red right now. It's a little, I don't know if the word absurd is right, but it's crazy. You just don't see this very often.
No, that you don't. So at least this time, in the previous series, we just saw Fortune Soul at the top of the net worth the entire game, and he wasn't really being contested. But Jikroy, behind him by only 50 gold at this point, definitely feels a million times more even.
And Mamang Dai also is having a fantastic game as well on the Mars right now. So like I fantastic. Okay, maybe not fantastic, but he's 2-2-2. He's definitely had an impact. Like you can know when he shows up, the Neon Esports almost also have to back away. He's got those good arenas off. So it's like we said, it's not as easy for Neon this game as it was for Reapers. In Spawn Esports, between the lead and the Drow, I'd put my money on the Lina taking the fight. Look at the stack she's farming right now.
Easy peasy money there. Going to be able to get those boots of travel online at a pretty decent time. Just with that Maelstrom makes farming so easy with the added attack speed from the Fiery Souls. Yeah, having a fantastic time so far. And it looks like Red can keep pushing into this tier 1.
Yeah, and once Lina has the boots of travel, she can sort of join her team anywhere on the map, make sure if they need help, and which they kind of do. Top lane though, everyone's showing up for Neon.
Yeah, they really want to defend this one. Tombstone's already there, but he gets focused straight away. That's just going to be bonus gold given off right now. Red's going to try and run himself away. It looks like everyone's a bit more distracted by the Undying, so the sacrifice there of the support will at least keep his core alive. But Neon want to turn this mass rotation into a tower push. They've got Exorcism ready to use. And they're just going to try and force the issue right now. It depends if Spawn want to bring the numbers to try and defend this.
They also have the mech available on Ryu, by the way, so they're a lot more durable. You have the mech, you have the living armor. It's not as easy to bring people down here, but will Spawn consider to fight this? They have... Oh, there you go. Arena comes out. But,
a little bit off the mark. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Jikroy does manage to bring down the Trin Protect. I think they also killed the tower as well. That's actually huge for Spawn. Like, whilst all that distraction was happening top, they get a free kill plus one of the most high priority buildings in the game.
So far, the Exorcism hasn't been able to do the work you need. Like, bottom lane, they did get the tower, but only because sort of there was a little bit of misplace by Spawn, but it wasn't because like Exorcism did a decent amount of damage. Top lane the same, the top tower only took like about half of its health. So far, those Exos haven't been giving you what you need, and you need to be careful because Death Prophet, you scale late game, but it's not amazing scaling, like Exorcism is definitely a spell that peaks at around level 12, and then so even at level 18 doesn't feel as impactful.
Yeah, that is definitely true. But it's still, it's still a sizable chunk ahead of Red, at least, his counterpart, position 3, who's now had to actually put himself down into the bottom lane to try and find what farm he possibly can. But Fortune Soul is here, and we've already seen the Drow solo kill him once before, so Red's got to be really, really careful about how he steps up in this lane.
Yeah, I was like, do you think the Drow is just like, I'm gonna hunt the Beastmaster this game? That's my job, Whenever he shows up, I'm gonna hunt him down. But the nice thing is that even though Drow he got farmed, firstly, Jikroy has more gold than her. Secondly, he's going to be more active thanks to the Boots of Travel. So, he can just, anywhere they fight, he can show up. Drow Rage does not have that option. Nor does she want to. She already has a power trust. She's not gonna go for Boots of Travel.
No, definitely.
Oh, hated. Stepping up here.
I think he's just positioned himself so he can tank any sort of gank that comes towards Fortune Soul. He does spot out the low, and that's going to be the immediate cue for Fortune Soul to be like, alright, I'm getting the hell out of there. And as a result, they're just going to dump their spells to kill the Trium. Which, you know, it's a 90-second cooldown for a support, but it's something. Yep, meanwhile up top, Travins. He gets brought down in response.
I like the Crypt Swarm on the Rubik, by the way. You have so much burst damage because you get a lot of bonus from the Arcane Supremacy. So it does a good chunk of damage. And you only have it on 7-second cooldown. It's not max level, but Rubik in this game, you can still Nature's Grasp, the Crypt Swarm, the Avalanche. Queen of Pain's got decent spells, although Scream of Pain is a bit hard to use compared to the other ones. But
yeah,
overall, it's a decent Rubik game.
Yeah, for sure. Lots of options for him to steal away.
Red, is he okay?
Hey, it sees him. Well, sends the grasp actually in the wrong direction, so Red should be fine here. Yeah, he's just making sure he's constantly in the general vicinity of the Drow Ranger, just offering up his own body, keep his Drow nice and safe. But yeah, as a result, definitely the farm and speed a bit slower here for the Drow. 1,400 gold advantage so far for Jikroy.
I like how he plays a Train Protector. They focus on getting that early Blink Dagger just so he can blink in, get those 3-4 man overgrowth. The damage is substantial from the overgrowth, and well, Hated. Is he in the right spot here?
Well, takes a roar to the face, a lot of damage. Living Armor actually stolen away after Dalol. That's quite a nice spell to have. It looks like Hade might be able to get away, but Ken jumps in very aggressively. Nice 2-man avalanche for Tsukimoto. Red's going to be brought down. I'm sure Mamang Daya, they've got no detection. He's just away. No dust, no sentries. That's it. He's going to be fine. Actually, he's playing quite greedily here. He's going to run straight to Hated. Wants to get the burst kill on towards the tree and drops the spells. Nearly enough. Just needed one more tick of the wall to bring him down, but not quite. It looks like Mamadai should get away. Tsukimoto is really after him, but not quite going to be able to catch up. Even Kent has to give up the chase. Meanwhile, in the mids, Enryu and Fortune Soul playing objective Dota and actually taking down the buildings.
And right, like they went for this aggressive kill. They used the roar on the tree and they couldn't kill him. They used the arena on the tree and they still couldn't kill him. Hated, he's living up to his name. These people do not. Maybe he's toxic in pubs. They're like, everybody ulti him. We don't like this guy. And they lose their mid-tier one in the meantime. So the Spawn having, seems like damage issues, right? 2 big attempts coming on the tree protector. Neither one of them successful, costing them a core and a tower. But again, Jikroy very farmed now, almost 2k gold ahead of his counterpart. He's got the Gleipnir. He's gonna go for the BKB. At that point, he's looking very hard to control.
Yeah, and they're just going straight into Roche. Starting so quickly, already down to half HP. The information is there from Neon, this is going on, but they've got to come over so much more quickly if they want to contest it. But it's just way too late. That's a free Aegis there for Jikroy.
This Lena is already hard to break down. Takes the 350 health talent as well, so it is just alright. I mean, we got a game on our hands, That's what we got, a really interesting game here between the Lena and everyone else. I mean, viewers are like, hey man, we've seen Lena a few times, where it's rarely interesting when she's around, but can she carry against this? What does the win percentage say? It's actually pretty heavily in favor of Neon.
Yeah, quite interested about that. I mean, the game is nearly bang on even. 11-11, only a 1k gold advantage at pretty much 19 minutes into the game. But I don't know, maybe there's just some weird factoring into the lineups themselves that Gaben says, nah, this is more probable. Who knows? Even still, pushing the tier 2 at the top now. TP's coming in from Neon to try and defend it. Actually, just toss the Gleipnir straight onto Enryu. But not quite enough to actually pressure them further. Obviously, they've got to commit. Oh, jump straight forward for Tsukimoto, tossing back the Lena. He does have the Aegis, obviously, but even still, just able to walk himself away. The Tiny taking so much punishment, but still alive for now. Surely going to drop, and he does fall. Jikroy, just a slur of HP. The ultimate from the Queen of Pain, and jump forwards. They do finally bring it down. That is the first life. Enryu super low himself with the living armor actually keeps him alive. And Travin's the 3rd casualty of that fight, so loads going down. I think only 2 supports to properly die, and obviously the Aegis being taken away.
Unfortunate timing, right? Coming out from the arena just when Jikroy was about to die, so he wasn't able to actually make use of the time to hit it. And and for Neon, that was really a win. Like the trade may be even, but used your Aegis for that. You barely damaged the tower. It's a maxed out living armor, so he's just gonna be able to heal it fine. So overall, like Neon, they were able to weather that power spike coming out from Spawn perfectly.
Yeah, very, very well played. It was just the power of the Queen of Pain as we saw there. It looked like the Lena was about to get out, but just one quick blink into the back lines, dropped another scream on her face, and that was it. And then a quick disengage. That's what I like to see. Sometimes when you see a team like they kill the player with the Aegis and they're respawn, they're like, oh, let's set up for another kill. But oftentimes it is just a matter of, right, we got rid of the Aegis, let's just get out. We don't want to risk it for any more. And it looks like Travis, he should just be dead. Quick burst kill, and down he goes. Mammoth nearly gets the spear back, doesn't quite connect on the trees, but regardless, Jikro is there to clean up the kill.
And when Rubik was able to also, he's stolen the toss, which isn't, you know, you don't generally want on the Rubik. You prefer to take the Avalanche if you can, but I mean, look at the cast range with it. Once you have the maxed out Arcane Supremacy and the Aether Leads, be able to toss people away basically for anywhere but top lane. Hey, it forced to use his ultimate just to stay alive. Huh. And all the you know, the whole forest was after him, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I can't survive this."
But that's why he's just been prioritizing the tower with the living armor, not even putting it on himself. He just wants to get that back up to a healthy standing. If he dies, yeah, whatever.
In the meantime, though, we are gonna get. It's gonna be pretty scary for Spawn in a couple of seconds because Fortune Soul, he's gonna have a BKB top bottom lane.
Yeah, he's trying to TP out. They've already used their disables. Big read from him to be like, yeah, you guys messed up and I am out.
Yeah, we talked about this in the draft, right? Your stuns are Overgrowth and Avalanche, and that's it. That's the only thing. Anytime Avalanche is used, they're like, well, I don't mind if he uses Overgrowth to kill me. That's their team fight gone. But yeah, we are going to have BKBs coming out from the Fortune Soul. Already has his, basically, and Ryu is only a recipe away. Spawn, they're getting close to theirs as well because on Mamang Daya.
Down bomb. Nice arena placement to work well with the telekinesis. And Ryu just easy peasy pick up there. Nicely synergized with Spawn. Taking down that death of it.
That was very well done, right? Putting him back into right near the edge of it just to set him up. So and Ryu is still farming decently, although Red, oh man.
Well, 0-6-2 at 22.5 minutes in. He's still the bottom farm core, just sort of slightly ahead of his support Rubik. Not the position you want to be, but well, it is.
Probably thinking we need wards right now. You know, like that's. It's like it's your fault, guys. If I had wards, oh well. In the meantime, though, Tiny.
He's just dead. Easily brought down.
It's very nice that he got speared to the one tree in that area. You know, there's like that's one random tree right in the middle of the river. He's like, that's the one. He gets speared in, and they get a kill. And so every time Neon's getting a kill, Spawn's answering them right back with a kill of their own. So we are probably going to go to a little bit later phase of the game. And again, I still favor Spawn's draft. You know, more stuns. You have the Lina, which is the best hero in the game. Undying Tombstone gives you a decent amount of team fight. So you have a lot of options. Neon, the control is a bit lacking, and the Death Prophet as well as the Queen of Pain feel like they fall off.
Yeah, that is definitely the case. So Fortune Soul, obviously, like you were saying, he's got the BKB up, and now also working towards a Lincoln Sphere. So he's dedicating quite a lot of his net worth just into defensive items. So his damage output is going to be hindered a little bit as a result. But obviously, once he pops the BKB, that Lincoln Sphere will provide him with plenty of protection from the Raw, which is just obviously the main point of it. Because one Raw in this scenario will just allow the Lina to burst her down as quickly as possible. So it is going to be a worthwhile matchup, but possibly it's something that Spawn can abuse.
The one thing they can do is if Rubik uses the spell steal to break it, right? Like you can't spell steal to break the Lincolns, whether they BKB or not, and then nice break of the smoke by Hated and good TP out, blink out, sorry.
The arena catches him, but again, he's positioned himself in a spot where he is literally being a little de-smoker for Fortune Soul. Like, he always making sure he's in the correct position, that his life is the one that gets taken away and not his carry. So, a nice position 5 plays. That's what you like to see.
Isn't it nice, right? The guy dies and we're like, what a play!
Yeah.
What a good game! How did he do it? You know, my mid's only run down mid. You know, he can do it, but Tsukimoto, he's got again. This is the classic, right? That we just get kills on these supports the whole game for Spawn.
He levels his ultimate in front of him, be like, he grows a bit, be like, maybe trying to scare him off, but it doesn't work. He still does. Very sad.
Is he angrier at us? That's why he's bigger. Maybe we should run away. It's like that. Doesn't matter. But yeah, BKBs are coming out now. Next 5 we're gonna see plenty of BKBs. Jikroy, Mamang Daya, I already mentioned Fortune Soul, but Inryu now has his BKB as well, and so does Ken. So that's like what 5 BKBs coming out for the two teams. I think all of them fresh.
Yeah, the next fight will be a big one, and I'm sure we're waiting for is probably just the arena cooldown there for the Mars. 20 seconds away, and then both teams will have all their ultimates available. Actually, he's talking about this Mars in the mid lane, forced to pop his BKB defensively. He's trying to get himself out there, running into the trees. Still no arena for 8 seconds. Can they bring him down? The Scream is next. Spies with still HP. The Nature's Grasp. It's off the mark, but it doesn't matter. The ultimate finds him, they do bring down the Mars. Meanwhile, at the top, Spawn were using the distraction of the mid laner as best as they could to find that tier 2. And Jikroy, not scared whatsoever about the rotations. Tries to go for the Death Prophet, but unsuccessful.
Bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, Vormungdaya, the first BKB usage. I mean, yes, it's kind of worth it, right? You get the tier 2 tower top, which means you have access to the outpost. You have the tier 1 mid, so that means that the next Roshan, which will spawn possibly in the next 5 seconds to 3 minutes and 3 minutes, they have a good opening for its spawn.
Yeah, they're definitely setting up the map to go for that next objective. Travens takes quite a beat in there, but he is able to walk himself away. He should be fine. And Roshan spawned pretty much 3 minutes. Not the longest spawn, but one of the higher ones there.
Check out the warding coming out from Neon. They really want that kill on Travis. They they have a ward on the cliff, and they have a ward to expect him to walk back just so that Tsukumoto can get the kill. But they need to be careful because Spawn, once they go for Roche, these will be the wards. So they are invested a lot. There's 3 observer wards in the top lane for Neon. That's a lot to secure Roshan.
Yeah, that it is. It's good vision to work off of for sure. There is just that one in the river there for Spawn, which hasn't actually been counted out yet, so maybe they can use that to potentially spot a Roche maneuver, but like we were saying, it's still quite a long ways before Roshan's actually back up. Oh, but
if you're a support, if you get a gem and you walk in that area, so good.
Yeah, Spawn jumping forwards. Mamadiah found an easy kill onto Death Prophet, even committing the roar there just to bring him down.
I'll take that.
So that's no Death Prophet 45 seconds. Can they maybe push an objective or something like that off at this time? The tier 2 is probably the closest one, but it might be a bit of a stretch to try and take that one down.
Also, they are really committing to protecting Roche, right? They're playing all around that area, and Enryu will be back up. I mean, again, this is a very long Roche, so they're not worried. They don't know it, right? That's the thing. We know it's a long Roche, but they have to hang out around the area. They're like, come on already. Spawn and... Jeez, look at Jikroy.
He just annihilated that tier 2. Just slowly chipping away all the towers left there for Neon. And now, as if they know, they just make a beeline straight towards the Roche area, realizing that is going to be the next objective on the board here. The ward obviously spotting Tsukumoto. Telekinesis is going to grab him in place. And that should be a dead Tiny. He's tanky, but not tanky enough. Ken jumps backlines, double damage as well as BKB. Can he bring down the Rubik? He does manage to find the kill and disengage. Buyback from the Tiny, but it looks like Spawn just going to have to try and get out as best they can. Ken's still in the area, but he should be able to evade detection. Still another... Oh, he's going to bump straight into him. Did he see each other? I don't know if they did. He managed to get the blink out.
But again, this long Roshan, man, screwing things up for Neon because they have been heavily committing to protecting this area. And even that buyback was used because they expected it to come out. They're like, come on, did someone time it wrong? What's going on here? But like they know it's going to come up in the next 30 seconds. In the meantime, good for Spawn because they didn't have to use a buyback to have everyone ready. The load will be up and ready to fight for it. Jikroy, he's standing next to an observer ward. Needs to be careful here.
They've gone for a smoke maneuver straight on top of Tsukumo, looking to toss him back into the waiting arms of Enryu. They've already got the exit to the drop. There's going to be the roar. They're trying to burst down this Death Prophet and they just destroy him so quickly. Jikroy's still super tanky and healthy right now, obviously with the Satanic activated. He was straight back up, and that is not at all how Neon wanted that to go down. And now Roshan spawned.
Very unfortunate. Enryu did not get this BKB off. It's still unused, which means that he was controlled. He couldn't get the Guardian Gears off either. So, I mean, yeah, would it have helped him against the Roar? No, but it would have helped him from all the other magic damage. So, in the end, Neon invested heavily into this Roshan, and it just goes to Spawn, you know, in the end.
Yeah. Isn't it a sort of poetic justice that Neon lost the Roshan because of the Spawn timer?
It's
funny stuff.
It's sometimes you put all your effort in something you don't get it, you know. Someone else just gets it. It's like me and my first girlfriend. I wrote her poetry, but some guy had a nicer car, so she just left me for him.
You know, I'd say blame on the fact that maybe she couldn't read. Maybe that's the reason why.
I never thought of it that way.
So you got to look at the bright side.
To know Dire's whereabouts.
Oh, by the way, this Rubik build is crazy. He's going for a Boots of Bearing with a Wraith Band, and he's got a Windlace as well. Like, you know, it's very interesting.
Well, this man's definitely got his unique builds, but it seems to be working out so far. Meanwhile, Ken forced to pop his BKB, but the Roar says that doesn't matter at all. Doesn't last long enough to keep him completely locked in, though. And it looks like Ken is going to be able to disengage with another Haste Rune. I suppose he's just had loads of those this game.
Yeah, Ken, he started to use the BKB though, and that was almost his life coming out, you know, costing him his life. He looks like he's probably going to go for the Lincoln Sphere, realizing that, yeah, these roars are annoying, but overall, Jikroy, it doesn't even matter that his offlaner is basically a support in this game. Oh, spawn lane?
Fortune Soul into real danger. Lincoln Sphere keeping him alive for a bit longer, and just BKB TP's out. Very nicely played from Min to realise that was the only way he was getting out of there. And meanwhile, though, the push onto the tier 2 is still happening. Jikroy just throwing those little fiery balls from afar. But it's just going to keep on getting healed up from the living armor.
Still, they know the 2 BKBs are down, so Spawn, they're not scared. You know, they still have the Aegis for another 3 minutes. They have a Tank on the lane. They couldn't kill Lina without the Aegis. Doing it twice feels nearly impossible. So they can just keep going if they want to. This is the second Aegis. So, you know, most of the time we see the second Aegis is the one that people use to push it and get at least the first tracks if they can. And Pulse comes out. I mean, hopefully Spawn, everything is okay. But man, this draft from Spawn has been working wonders for them.
Yeah, it really has. It just seems like they tick all the boxes. They've got good frontline, they've got good damage output, they've got save potential as well. It's just really well thought out. It's not like they've even particularly countered any specific heroes on the side of Neon. It's just I don't know, just feels like they've got better team composition at the moment.
The only thing I would say that they counted was the Mars last pick, right? Because I thought the Mars last pick against Drow Ranger was an inspired choice, just because it's so good against Drow Ranger. You're like, oh, you know, I can just turn the bulwark and take all the damage. So that was really the only one that was like, oh wow, that's really clever. But like I said, the rest of they just pick like a lot of the meta heroes and a nice Mars on top that fits the draft.
Yeah, well, it's working out. So now it's this time, first time we've seen it today that Neon's actually on the back foot right now. Not quite as bad as the previous series of how, you know, the team that was losing not getting destroyed that bad. So there is a lot of potential they can still come back on into this one. They've gone for a 4-man smoke move. Heading into their own jungle, it looks like Red could be the person that goes down for the 7th time this game. And he's actually falling back just in time to avoid it.
Lucky he was able to survive this, but Neon, are they gonna fight anything with the smoke gang? Because you smoked, you'd like to get something. You don't have an outpost on your side, you only have any tier 2 towers. Maybe they'll find Momoc Daya, but this guy's got BKB.
So he's going to find the quick pick off there onto the Undying. There's a jump forward from Jikroy, just poking and prodding onto Ken right now. But doesn't want to fully overcommit. But hey, Neon quick in and out, they find a support kill, and they don't sustain any losses in return.
The thing about Undying is that he's one of the position 5s who really doesn't mind dying, right? It's not like the treant where you want to stay alive to get... Oh, speaking of that, Momoc Daya.
Yeah, Sukure does a nice little dodge there with the 4-star. Otomo, for style points, he telekinesis himself and throws him into the Tiny rather than just picking up the Tiny himself. I mean, it didn't really make much difference, but hey, it looked flashier.
Yes, I mean, it does make a difference because the cooldown goes lower. He's like, I want to make sure the spell is available as soon as I can. So like I'm using it. What a move. By the way, one nice thing about the Boots of Bearing is that you're up against a lot of slows. You know, the Shadow Strike, the Drow Ranger slows, the Nature Scrap. It doesn't matter because you can just Boots of Bearing, walk yourself out of it. No, you cannot be slowed. It's a decent item for that. Top lane though, Jikroy might get the tier 3s.
Yeah, just doesn't even need the rest of his team really. Just the help of Travins behind him. And he feels comfortable enough to sit on the high ground. Obviously, still got a full minute left on the Aegis. Got the Satanic as well if he needs to just heal back up. It's Neon Light, there's nothing we could do. We just sort of have to watch this happen. The TP is coming back now from Fortune Soul, as well as the glyph usage. But I don't think they can even save these barracks. I think they just have to, you know, take the sacrifice and move on.
Yeah, Lina with her 750 attack speed, very balanced ability right there. And she just walks up. They can't kill her. They can't do anything. Neon Esports, the net is tightening. You know, the map is smaller. Two of their cores have, you know, they're behind. They're not scaling cores to begin with. It's all on Fortune Soul to do something pretty incredible in this game.
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't actually been punished that hard. He's still not got a single death to his name. 4-0-2 right now, with 403 last hit. So he has been using the space that he's been given, but I think the fact is that Jikroy's not only been killing creeps, but he's also been getting a hell of a lot of kill participation. 12, 1, and 2, which is why he's basically a full 6,000 gold ahead of his counterpart carry. But Neon now going for a smoke move yet again. Let's see if they're able to find anybody. And is it actually going to be red this time? Yeah, they find him. Tsukimoto is straight on top of the Beastmaster. Actually does pop the BKB, but makes zero difference whatsoever. And now Ken walking up to the high ground, gets caught and brought down. Fantastic spear. Even the Glepnin runs two, but the 4-star dodges the arena. Nicely done there from the support of Neon. It was actually Fortune Soul's own 4-star, never mind. They keep in chase. Now they're going to change target straight on towards the Mars. The BKB is popping again. It doesn't stop the physical damage raining in from this Drow Ranger. Emery's into the front, trying to man it with Jikroy, but the Lena's like, I don't give a crap about you. Just right-click it away. Again, another 4-star dodge of the stuns. Just fantastic item usage coming out from Neon. And Jikroy is just chasing after the Death Prophet relentlessly. Tsukumoto is going to be there to try and make space for his cause to disengage, but this Lena does not care. Again, another dodge of the LSA. Is Tsukumoto going to make it out alive? He cannot. Godlike spree there for Jikroy. Just a very chaotic little engagement right there.
It does cost them a bit buyback from spawn, but again, you're going to take that because, I mean, you won the fight. Jikroy proving again how dominant he is. Now, is he going to go, are they going to consider going for the Raxus mid? They already have top Raxus. Two of the enemy heroes are dead. Ken does, and neither of them have buyback. So, you drop the Tombstone, Travis walks in front, and like, Lena just doesn't care.
The Libin armor makes no difference at all to these buildings. They still just get shredded in a second. Yeah, Jikroy. Yeah, even though he does have the edge to more, still keep on whacking away. He has got to be careful though. His Satanic's on cooldown, and he will just now decide to back on out. I mean, there's nothing to stay for anyway. Objective's gone, but he's not done yet. Just TP's down to the bottom wave. Maybe thinking about just carry on shoving it through. Okay, no, he puts a bit of pressure on the brakes. They don't want to go too crazy.
May be up in 1 to 4 minutes. You can get it. You can secure yourself a victory. I mean, this is Neon, right? This is not a team where you can take risks. I mean, you shouldn't take risks if you don't have to. Tsukimoto, he's revealed.
This could be a dead tiny yet again. Death number 11 for him.
He has buyback.
Oh, another crash. Henry does manage to pop the BKB there to avoid the spear connection, and he's able to walk himself away. There's going to be now no BKB for the next coming engagement, but likewise no arena.
Yeah, but Mars has got Refresher Orb. He's got BK. He's got all their BKBs are available. Whereas Neon, they have to invest. They had to invest quite a bit for that attempt here. It got them nothing, right? It's like another one where you go out, you try to do something, you use a smoke. They have nice vision on the Radiant side of the map, but guess what? Spawn isn't playing there. You know, like Spawn isn't playing next to their outpost or near their mid lane.
That is very, very true. I mean, they do have the gem on Hated, but I guess it's been a little while. He can't really get outside the base to find some of these just lane wards chilling. Maybe if he did just walk across them, it would be a nice little payday for him, but yeah, just can't quite get into the right position for that. And Roshan, minute and 30 seconds away, not as long of a respawn as the first one at least. So we'll see who's going to be able to snatch that one. And Spawn, again, going to be charging forwards right now, smoke onto 4 people. And the leader can join at any moment there with the TP boots. It's coming on in. Enru, is he going to get caught? This could be a massive spear. Actually lands onto 2 people. There is going to be a jump from Tsukumoto trying to make the space, but it makes no difference at all. 3 people are dead. Ken into the back does at least manage to find the Undying kill, but that's a very small consolation prize. And with the BKB, he's going to try and get himself out of there. But it has now run out. He's got to be careful. Mammoth Dyer. Oh, what a fantastic arena usage. Although he has to use the refresher orb just to keep the Green of Pain locked down. But it doesn't even matter. 4 people dead for Neon. All they lose the Undying. And Fortune Soul, what is he doing here? This feels very aggressive.
Yeah, that's okay. He's going for Mowing Die. I can get him. Probably not.
No, the BKB pop has to run away. Glepnir still gets the catch though. Spear not quite lands onto the tree, but it makes no difference at all. He's dead. I don't know. He was underneath his own wards. He just maybe thought he was stronger than he was. Like the Mars just got tickled by him.
These, you know, the enemies are very sneaky. So Fortune Soul is even sneakier. You know, he's like, they'll never suspect me standing in this area. It's like, all right. Yeah, he just reveals himself. I know, that's weird. Like Neon's Again, this is Eon's draft, a little disjointed this game with the lack of stuns, and you have two, like we said, two cores that just do not go late game. Fortune Soul, it's all on him, and to his credit, the guy has been farming well, but it's not enough. Jikroy has been extremely active on the lead, and they're just gonna wait for Roshan, who is up. Third Rosh, refresher shard. I guess you want to give it to maybe Red or Jikroy, either way.
Mammoth gave the bottle over to Jikroy, but he forgot to put it in his inventory before picking up the rune, so just activated the DD straight away. Not that it really makes much difference, I suppose. Still got the Roche. Refresher shards given over to the hands of the Beastmaster. But another fight is already going down. Mammoth taking a bit of a beating, but he's still able to retreat to the safety of his teammates. Fortune Soul trying to do as much damage as he can. Even now the Exism getting popped. But here comes Jikroy, double damage, still plenty of the duration left. He's just going to shred him away. Exo into the hands now of Delal. He's going to be able to do a lot of work with that. The Tidy trying to hold back Jikroy as much as possible. He has popped the Satanic right now. He just can't get many right clicks off. Fortune Soul might be able to bring him down. He does take him. There's the first life, mind you. Fantastic ult from Ken, taking away both the supports there from Spawn. It's a 3 versus 4 situation. And then looks on, Ken jumping in yet again aggressively, trying to focus down. Spear will connect him onto the trees. Can the rest of Neon save him in time? It doesn't look so. And he will fall. So lots of trades happening there. 2 people dead for Neon, 2 for Spawn.
No.
And the arena misses.
Yeah, my mind. Yeah, it throws out the arena, but Fortune Soul, oh, this could be risky for him.
He's doing it again. These sneaky plays. He's trying to poke onto Mammoth, and he will actually bring it down. Jikroy though coming in, lands with the Glepnir, but Tsukimoto is going to be there. The toss not quite landed because of the BKB. Fortune Soul forced up to high ground, TP'd away, and he makes it. Wonderful play from him.
Overall, kind of a win for Neon. They got the Aegis out of Jikroy. They forced a buyback from Red. They killed 2 supports. Yes, it cost them 2 of their cores, but in terms of like the financial gain, Neon very happy with what they got in that fight. Unfortunately, they have to go back and defend it. They almost lose one of their tier 4 towers. So even though they win that fight, it doesn't like change. Apart from getting the Aegis out of the hands of the lane, it doesn't change the status quo of the game. They're still massively far behind.
Yeah, definitely. So I think Spawn just waiting for the next creep. Oh, a smoke right in front of the creeps. I think that's a clear read on what's going on there. Mind you, actually, the creeps are miles away from this lane. There are some in the base right now, so backdoor protection is down. But regardless, Spawn don't want to risk just going high ground and throwing it away. But instead, they're doing this little cute play of a smoke wrap into the base.
They want the Lena. I mean, so they don't want Drow Ranger. Fortune Soul is standing there, but he's wise till he goes back.
Yeah, no one's going to call it this time. Smoke's about to run out. Lincoln Sphere broken there. Steals away the Crypt Spawn into the hands of the Rubik. Meanwhile, really gets dropped. Hatred avoiding the spear, but he can't keep himself alive. Will be forced to use his buyback. And Jikroy just focuses down onto the buildings. Tsukimo's got the wrap on towards the Rubik. Might about to bring it down, but the second arena not actually connect onto anybody because of the BKB there for Fortune Soul. Tsukimo actually having to TP back to his base just outside, and he will make it out alive. But regardless, objective Dota at its finest here from Spawn team. Focusing it down. Mega's about to be found unless Neon can do anything. They're jumping forwards, but it's too late. Mega's already there. Jikroy gets the BKB off as well as the Satanic, just gatling people down. The Tidy's already the first casualty. They're focusing onto the Lina, doing quite a lot of damage. Ken's doing everything you possibly can right now, but it doesn't matter. There's just so much damage output coming out from this man. It's an absolute killing field. Neon are getting disintegrated, and they call GG. Spawn team take game number 1 of this best of 2.
There was a I think there was a stolen overgrowth in that last fight, and yeah, Spawn since the beginning of the game, it felt like, you know, we fully favored their drafting. He's the better one, and that's what it looked like. They just were able to do well on all stages. The mid lane Mars, we saw Ken like he committed heavily to the Shadow Strike. He didn't take the ultimate to like level 7 or level 8 on the Queen of Pain, so he wasn't able to make space. And it's not like Mammoth suffered. Mammoth was like, okay, I guess you don't, I guess you don't want to rotate around the map too much. In the meantime, we also saw Henry had a good start, but then he fell off. Hated and as well, both the Tree and Anatine needed a Blink Dagger, and as well as much as Drow Ranger. Most Fortune Soul did a good job in that game. He had non-scaling cores with him. It was very hard for him. Whereas Lina on Jikroy, 22. He's got 22 kills and 8 assists. It's absolutely wild how well he played.
Yeah, absolutely stonker of a game from him. And hey, that's a perfect first game for them as well. That's definitely going to be a big confidence booster moving forward. Obviously, there is going to be one more game to come, but I think Neon are going to be a bit shaken up after that. Like, after having a relatively easy series to start it off with, then coming up against Spawn Team, who really showed them that they're not as strong as they might think they are. So, possibly might have to rethink the draft going forward into the next game. We will have to wait and see. Do you think there's any sort of key changes that Neon have to do?
Well, they have to go with one of two things. Either they get some things that scales more, or they get a little bit more control on their heroes. Because, like, I mean, we saw the Tiny Tsukumoto. He had a fantastic game, honestly, because he was able to jump and get those key stuns off. But it's not enough because there's just no follow-up lockdown to help him out. So, or you go for heroes that can scale a bit hard into late game. Death Prophet is decent, but Death Prophet and Queen of Pain, if you're not snowballing early game hard, you're losing the game.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So we'll see what they do change going into the next game, which will just be about 10 minutes, guys, so not long to wait. Do stick around for more Dota 2. Back soon.